Welcome, everybody, to another episode of EPL on Pub Special Edition as we're getting some midweek games here in the Premier League, and it's on your favorite channel, Pub Sports Radio. Don't forget to turn on those notifications and subscribe so you can get notified of all the great content here on Pub Sports Radio. I mentioned there's a special midweek games in the Premier League. We're getting games Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so they're coming fast and furious, and we're here to break them down. He's Matt. I'm Jason. How's it going there, Matt?
It's going well, Jason. I'm really excited for the midweek card. I think it's always fun just to have that mixed with a little bit of U.S. Open stuff, and it's going to be a good week of betting. And I guess my question is, what were some of your takeaways from the weekend?
Yeah, I do have a couple of takeaways. What about Arsenal? They continue flying on, taking advantage of some of these lesser teams. I'm a little worried about Arsenal because, we know the Arsenal, letdown is going to happen. But to be fair, every team would have some sort of letdown. You can't stay in this kind of form. But not only is it going to let down, but now it's going to let down against really good opponents just based on who they've played so far. They're not, the cupcakes are kind of out of the way. So a little bit nervous about that. What about Leicester? They're the only team in the league that have cashed over 2.5 goals in every single game. What about Forest and West Ham? They're the only two teams that have cashed under 2.5 goals in both of their game. Brighton continues to look really good, been strong on Brighton. They continue to look really good. What about Liverpool? Liverpool said enough of that BS there, Matt. They came out with 9. How, Matt, do they get 9 goals? Salah plays all 90 minutes, and I can't hit my anytime goal-scoring parlay to cash.
I know. I thought about that. That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
What were some of your other thoughts from this past match week?
Well, you look towards this midweek card, and I think that Arsenal have another layup here, Jason. Yes. Aston Villa here at home. You really cannot ask for more right now. I think they go 5-0 here. So, is it sustainable? I mean, you'll see after the international break and things like that. But I mean, this team is for real. They do have that balance of, defense mixed with attack, decent midfield. So, we'll see how it goes. But I was just happy to cash the 2 unit last week. The West Ham. The first half was so poor just in general. But David Moyes, that was one of the reasons for the bet is he is a little bit more experienced. He's a little bit better manager than Steven Gerrard. I love Gerrard. That's my guy. Yeah, but, right. He's just still not there yet. West Ham make a few different changes. They change their shape at halftime and completely blitz Villa in the second half. That is what I expect Arsenal to do from the very minute upcoming.
Absolutely love that right there. Hey, guys, drop in some of your winners in that comment section. We love to shout out and read these winners as we go along. And good afternoon to everybody out there. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Actually, one more thing I wanted to mention. Keeping track this week, last week of the transfer windows, and last week that also guys can be sent out on loan. So when we see you guys later on this week, when we talk about and we break down this upcoming weekend games, there will be guys in different places. So just keep an eye on the transfer window as the last week winds down. All right, now let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go ahead and start off with Crystal Palace taking on Brentford. I'm really liking this matchup from Crystal Palace. I do think they're going to revert back to last season's form in terms of their home form of being really strong. You saw it when they faced Aston Villa a couple of weeks ago, getting that good 2-1 win against Villa. Brentford, man, tough weekend against Everton, hitting the post a couple times. They should have cashed their team total. They should have gotten all 3 points against Everton, but this is going to be a tough matchup against Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace was on City. Boy, did they put some fear in a lot of people's parlays by going up 2-0 on City. They're going to be tough here at home. I think the Bees struggle. I like Palace in this spot. What about for you?
I like Palace in this spot as well, but also looking at both teams to score yes in this one, because look at Brentford. They have scored in every match. It was huge, late on to be able to equalize against Everton, and then they've scored 2 and 4 and 2. And I believe that Palace will have enough here to get the job done. I think that this is a 2-1 to Crystal Palace. I'd be looking at Palace minus a quarter at minus 120. That looks pretty good. I would be shocked if Palace got beat here.
Yes.
So why not take the minus a quarter? If it does end up drawing and Brentford play well, you would only lose half your stake. So that would be like a loss of $60 versus 100 if you want to go, that method. So that's where I'm looking at right here. I'm looking at BTTS, yes, because I still trust in Brentford's process and attacking. and I'm looking at Palace here at home, Selhurst. I mean, I think that it does stack up to maybe have 2 bets, or you combine them both into a giant price of both teams to score yes and Crystal Palace to win.
All right. So if you like, do you want to stay off both teams to score in over 2.5?
I'm liking Palace so much more that like I really would be shocked if Brentford won here, because I think that Brentford's defense is still a bit of an issue right now. So, that's where I would rather kind of lean towards like the full on value of and you go, with the full prediction essentially. And let's see just what the price is. It is plus 335 versus
plus 335. Okay. For both teams
plus
to score.
335 versus plus 128. You know what I mean? I really do think that Palace get the job done here. So, this even could be like one of those exactas. I know that you like to do your prediction show and predict the correct score lines and stuff like that, Jason. I mean, this one is setting up for like a 2-1, 3-1 to Palace, in my opinion.
All right. We see that one the same. So let's go Palace, see if they can't handle business at Selhurst Park. Let's move it along now to Fulham, taking on Brighton. Fulham getting tripped up against Arsenal at the Emirates, 2-1. Brighton just continue humming along, now sitting at 10 points after a 1-0 win against Leeds. Brighton's been really impressive. I'm wondering if Brighton can cash their team total over 1.5 goals at plus money. I think that's the angle. I just want to keep backing Brighton in this spot. It's against an opponent, obviously newbie in the Premier League, one that they should have the better of, even though it is on the road. I just want to keep backing Brighton, especially keep backing Brighton as long as they keep getting opponents like this they have the upper hand on. What about for you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like, here's the perfect one. I think that this is the same kind of play as with Palace, and you take Brighton minus a quarter of a goal here on the road, and you can find that at minus 105. Brighton are unbeaten in their last 10 in all comps. They haven't lost 13 of 14. They're not losing to Fulham here. I'm sorry. No. I don't think the Fulham are that good. They were solid though against Arsenal. You have to say, like, Fulham have been a bit more impressive than I would have thought going into it. But yeah, I mean, Brighton, this is a close one. I don't think that this is going to end up being a play for me. But if I did have to play this one, it would be Brighton minus a quarter, minus 105. They've kept a clean sheet in 4 straight in all comps. I mean, they're just doing all the right things here. Like you mentioned, the team total angle, their last 3 on the road, Brighton have cashed the team total over 1.5. So I'm only looking at Brighton here. I would definitely want to double check some lineups. I don't think that this line is going to really move too much. I think it's right where it's supposed to be. Brighton plus 130. That makes sense to me. So yeah, I would just rather have the minus a quarter on my side just for a half stakes loser if it does draw.
Okay, and I agree with Danny. Yeah, that team total for Brighton looks awfully tasty right there, Danny, at plus money. Expect Brighton to continue their nice run that they're on this season. Let's go ahead and move over to Southampton, taking on Chelsea. Chelsea picking up back-to-back red cards. Am I taking Chelsea just to get another red card for a 3rd straight week? I don't know. I doubt that's going to happen, but Gallagher was the one that picked it up last week against Leeds. Now they're just weakens at midfield even more, right? They still don't have Conte. He's going to be out with the thigh hamstring injury. No Gallagher now due to the red card. Man, I think Southampton can get a goal here at St. Mary's. Both teams will score. I think it looks really good in this matchup. I know Southampton didn't do much against United, but they seem to, quite frankly, have turned the corner. Maybe they figured out their center back partnership right there. I like Southampton to get a goal here at home with the weekend Chelsea midfield. Still think Chelsea can pull it out. I mean, they pulled it out this past weekend, 10 men up against Leicester. They were able to get it done against Leicester, 10 men. They got both their goals with 10 men. So I'll take Chelsea to win the game, but I'll take both teams to score in this fixture.
Yeah, I mean, I think, let's see here, 8:30. So it looks like Koulibaly will be back. Because it wasn't a straight red, it was 2 yellows, so that's a 1-gamer. So Koulibaly will be back into the side, which is a nice addition, I think, for Chelsea here. And when you look at head-to-heads, Jason, I mean, there is no more of a domination, really, of a head-to-head here. I mean, Chelsea undefeated in their last 9 away here at St. Mary's. I mean, they don't get beat here.
Right.
And I think that this game's going to be, probably pretty close. I don't want to be with Chelsea necessarily. And I I certainly don't want to be with Southampton. I mean, I think this is a pretty easy pass at the prices.
Period pass for you. Okay. All right. Let's move it on. Let's not pass on talking about Leeds versus Everton. Leeds versus Everton is next. Everton's still sitting in the relegation. Leeds sitting there high up in the table, in the top half of the table, top 5 in the table. Still not getting on Everton anytime soon, folks. This is a team that you just want to fade at home at Leeds. We can just expect them to attack. Maybe they didn't do this much this past week against Brighton, but I think you've really got to give Brighton a lot of credit in terms of what they're doing. But Leeds returns home here. They should be full on the attack against an Everton team that everybody's going to look to punish and collect 3 points again. I'm expecting just not one-way traffic, but Leeds will certainly have the upper hand. And I think they'll punish the goal with shots on target. This could be a nice little prop here of over shots on target. I think they're going to really be putting a lot of pressure there on Pickford and the rest of that Everton defense. So I'll take Leeds and more than likely a team total. Leeds halftime, full time. They should be all over Everton.
Yeah, I like Leeds here. I mean, I think that, but I do, I think that it's not a big play worthy or anything like that, just because when you look at comparing Leeds and Brentford, it's the exact same spot as last week. I mean, and Brentford couldn't get the job done here. So I think that Brentford are probably just as well-rounded, if not maybe a little bit more well-rounded than Leeds. They're both right in that same tier. And so this price is at the exact same price. The books think that Leeds and Brentford are the same, essentially. And while they might be, I think that Leeds have that big time home support, Jason, that will push them. It pushes their energy levels up. And they blitzed Chelsea here the last time. Jesse Marsch, full of energy. Aronson, full of energy. They've got guys that just want to run and press. And I think that this is a bad recipe for Everton, really. So, if you went with Brentford on the money line last week, and you lost, I still think that it's probably worth like saying, okay, I'm going to try to fade Everton again here and not be worried about it. Like right in that same kind of price range. So for me here, this is Leeds, and it's probably another kind of theme of it is it's probably Leeds minus a quarter, because I just in case I would like to have the draw on side for a half stakes loser instead of a full stakes loser. It's the exact same price. Leeds minus a quarter, minus 120. I think that they do well here against Everton.
Yeah, their team total over 1.5 is at plus money. I mean, you're right. Everything's priced pretty equal to this past game. I think Leeds, though, at home, just with how bright they've been at home, I think they're able to cover their team total. I mean, Brentford was there, hit post twice. I mean, they were there against Everton, just didn't quite find the back of the net. But I look for a similar outcome, or at least maybe a better outcome, but maybe the same game script in terms of that Brentford-Everton game as well. So, all right, guys. Hey, appreciate you guys checking out Pub Sports Radio. You're on the EPL here on Pub. We're talking about match week number 5 here in the Premier League. Hit that like button. Also, don't forget to drop in your comments. Let us know what some of your leans are. Let us know what some of your bets are for midweek here in the Premier League. Let's keep it going with the hottest team in the Premier League. It's Arsenal welcoming Villa to the Emirates. I think this train's going to keep on humming along. I think they're going to hum along with another 3 points. I don't even know if Villa can get on the score sheet. Have not been impressed with them. I think this is an Arsenal win, and I think this is an Arsenal clean sheet. Even though Fulham scored, okay, it happens. It's hard to keep clean sheets, but nothing. I don't see anything from this Villa team that gives me hope or confidence that they can find the back of the net. So if you want to go price there on Arsenal win to nil, Arsenal halftime, full time, they're going to get it done here. They're going to be able to take advantage of what continues to be a soft schedule.
Yeah, I don't mind that Arsenal halftime, full-time look. I mean, I think that this is another this is a layup, beautiful spot right here for Arsenal. I mean, I watched the entirety of Villa last week. I got a really good look at that one because I faded them last week, and they've lost 3 straight on the road. Let's not forget that was at home, and it sure didn't feel like a home ground for Villa in that second half. I mean, the Hammers, their fans, they were so loud. You could only hear West Ham fans in that stadium. It was crazy. I mean, this is a great spot. So here's another thing. Arsenal have seen over 2.5 goals in their last 6 at home. So that's the only thing is like, how are we going to find the value? That's the question, because I think that Gerrard, they're going to sit back. Look, Coutinho just got injured. So now it's going to be Buendia for a full 90. There was no Mings, which is another. I was shocked, Jason, honestly. So I added some more. I double dipped and triple dipped on West Ham, which is always, when you're doing that, it's always a little scary. But
right.
I saw that there was no Mings in the lineup, and the line was one of those. I was going up against the line. It was like Villa or West Ham in the very early morning when I woke up. West Ham were plus 240. And by the time of kickoff, or like 30 minutes before, I'm seeing plus 280s out there. I'm like, what is going on here? Like the lineups are out. The lineups are a slight mismatch. They were like pretty even. And I just thought the match was even in general. And I spoke about how they had won 4 straight against Villa. So, with no Mings in that lineup, that was a little bit funky. He came down with a virus. So we're going to find out if he's even fit and available here. If he's not, I think that you just got to find a way to get on probably Arsenal and over 1.5. If he's there, it might be an Arsenal and under 4.5. But maybe it's kind of the route that you went last week with the beautiful parlay of Arsenal and Spurs, kind of not complicating it. I am really confident that Arsenal win here. And I think that if you like them, you can shop around right now and you can find some minus 200s, minus 210s. Like, you know what? Sometimes I think that in this, like, we just get a little bit to where we overcomplicate things. Like, I think that this line might end up being like minus 275 before kickoff. And like, I think that you'd get some value right now if you can grab like a 210, 215s. Like I just think that they win here, and I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but they get the job done. They get all 3 points here.
Yeah, I know people are worried about the Arsenal letdown, but European football hasn't started. That's kind of when the season really cranks up, right? You come back from the first international break, everybody goes now into European competition. I'm just not worried about the letdown coming this soon or quite yet for Arsenal at home against a weak opponent. Yeah, Arsenal train will keep on going. They'll still be the only undefeated team in the Premier League come Wednesday afternoon. All right, let's move over now to Bournemouth. They're taking on Wolves, and that one's also Wednesday afternoon. Wolves did not have the first half draw, burned me this past weekend, but I took a Ruben Neves pretty damn good hit from about 25 yards out. He caught that clean, just drilled it past Nick Pope. Unfortunate the defender couldn't quite step out and get a block in. I'm going right back to that bet. I even like it even more that it's on the road there for the Wolves. I just see this one being 0-0 at halftime. I'm going right back to it, Matt, even though I did get a loss. This one just feels low scoring. Just nothing in this Wolves team inspires me. More than good enough defense to shut down anything Bournemouth, I think, is going to put at them. So I'm going right back to first half draw, maybe a sprinkle on the 0-0 first half, result. That's how I see this one. That's probably how we're going to see a lot of Wolves games this season. That's just how Wolves is kind of made up of keep it close, don't score. Yeah.
I think that Big Show, he had a play on the first half in Wolves, our producer here at Pub Sports. And, maybe he was getting a couple of little decent nuggets from the show. I hope, just kind of talking about how they do in first halves. This one sets up perfectly. Look, this is another one. Okay. Yes, it didn't end in a first half draw, but Wolves still won the first half. They are unbeaten at halftime in 21 straight away.
They could be 22 now.
21 straight away matches in all comps. They are undefeated at halftime. Okay. And then you look at, but then there's this one where you're kind of looking at 8 consecutive away matches in all comps. So that the draw at halftime has come in. Okay. Yep. So, but then on the flip side here, this is where I'm kind of like trying to figure something out here is really Bournemouth. They've lost 3 straight halftime, full times. Yes, I'm not going to take anything. Let's try to block out that they've already played Liverpool and they've played City. So what they're kind of 1-0. They beat Villa on the opening match day. What else have they done? They got beat, I think.
It was City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Oh yeah, they even played Arsenal and got thumped 3-0. Remember, Arsenal came into town.
So let's think about those 3. So throw those all out the window. They did beat Villa, Villa is probably worse than Wolves right now at this state of mind. But if you want to just target the first half here, you can look at Wolves plus 180 on the money line, or something that I like, and this could maybe be the combination that we get with Arsenal, Jason. This is it. This is kind of what the show's all about, is creating it a little bit even on the fly too here. Wolves draw no bet minus 180 in the first half, and Arsenal to win and beat Aston Villa. That is a price of plus 126. I like that.
Love it.
I like that. I mean, that's some digging in. Are they going to get beat here at halftime against Bournemouth?
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
I think that they win it. I think that plus 180 is value to get on the money line in the first half, for example. But I think going the safer route, that could be the second beauty like parlay combination right there. And if it ends up drawing, then you're basically just sitting on still like a 1 unit bet to win basically a like 0.4 of a unit on Arsenal on the money line, which I was just talking about that I like. So I'm very interested in this one. That one is most likely making the card.
Love it. Love it. Love how you got those two first half angles. One team really good versus another team really poor. Well, that matches up really well. All right. Nice parlay there, Matt. Let's move it along now to Manchester City taking on Nottingham Forest. And everything here is priced accordingly for City to do the job. Holland to get a brace is at plus 160, I believe I saw. Otherwise, it's always hard to pick a City goal scorer, score in both halves, win at both halves. It's all juicy. The win both halves was the closest to minus 150. I saw that at minus 165. I think City certainly is able to win both halves. This game's at the Etihad, one-way traffic. Maybe take an under, shots on target there for a Forest team who are only going to get about 2 looks at the goal. Probably at most, one-way traffic for me. This game's just priced tough. Unless you want to pluck out a goal scorer or Holland brace, it's just kind of price difficult to buy.
Yeah, I mean, plus 165 on the brace and plus basically 600 you can probably find.
You see his third goal. His third goal showed his strength. His strength to fight off those two balls, just to be able to like withdraw that or withstand that contact and get it in. Beast.
He's already the greatest. I'm telling you, he is the greatest goal scorer that's ever graced the presence of this league. I mean, he just is. It's ridiculous what he does. And it really sucked for me because 2 weeks ago I had him to get a hat trick. I was doing I've been doing some combination plays on Holland and Mane in the Bundesliga. So I took a couple weeks ago. I had them both in a parlay to get braces. That was very close to hitting. That was like at 25-1. This past week it was at 20. Holland gets the hattie. Mane like hits the post once and then gets pulled a little early, which sucks. But I mean, there's no value on this match. Like I think that this match comes too soon for Forest with all the new pieces. So I think that they get absolutely rolled here probably. I would only be looking towards Manchester City minus. I think that they probably cover the handicap in this one. And I do think that, finding a way to, I wonder if you can find a way to get on like Man City minus 1.5 and Holland to score or something like that, like where it does combine. The only way to look at City right now, Jason, is to look at Erling Haaland, I think. And, he scored with his left last week. He had his header. He scored with his left. I think another one was with his left. So when we do have that chance, basically, where it's like they're pricing us out of Haaland minus 300s, I do think that we found a decent angle to get Haaland onside at minus 140, minus 150 to score with his left boot.
Yeah, this is also going to be another matchup. This is the first time this season long a lower side and certainly a newbie side. Their squad depth is really going to be tested, having to come back 3-4 days later. City's got all the depth. They can rotate if they desire. World-class players are coming in. Nottingham doesn't have the depth and certainly doesn't have the depth of quality. So not only is there a gulf in talent between these two clubs, then you add in the short rest, so to speak, of the quick turnaround. Yeah, City should absolutely run over Nottingham without a doubt.
That too, Jason, and just all of the new transfers. Like they just signed another beautiful piece, Renan Lodi from Atletico Madrid, who was fantastic last season for Atletico Madrid. Brazilian left back going to Forest. But it's going to be too soon for this match. Like I'm ready to get on Forest after the international break. After give them a couple weeks. Hopefully they don't have a ton of internationals leave. I'm going to really dive into that. I hope that they stay in Nottingham and really train together for a couple weeks. I think that Forest could be a completely different side here in about 2 weeks. I think that they pressed Spurs really to the brink. And that one too, I thought that they could have scored 3 goals against Tottenham. I thought they were actually really, really good. They just could not handle Kulusevski, Son, and Kane in a sense on the break, which not many teams can.
Yeah.
So, this one comes too soon. This should be a beatdown for Man City, but I think that like later in the season that this match could be a lot more competitive.
All right, cool. All right, let's move over now to West Ham taking on Tottenham. I remember this fixture from last season, 1-0 win for West Ham in London. Boring game. They won this game on a corner. The reverse fixture was a lot better at White Hart Lane. I wonder, though, with this game being played in London at West Ham, if you're going to get more of this low-scoring feel. Again, I mentioned West Ham is one of only 2 teams in the Premier League that has cashed under 2.5 in each and every single of their game. That could be a theme, at least earlier on. You're seeing Antonio finally benched this past week. He was not leading the line of Samaka. He comes into the starting 11 to lead the line. I'm like Tottenham in this spot. I'm not willing to bet Tottenham, though, on the money line. West Ham is always tough at home. You saw the way this fixture played out last season. It feels like an under 2.5 game. Feels like an under 2.5.
It does. It absolutely does. I think that you're spot on here. I mean, just looking at the way that the sides kind of stack up, this is going to be a lineup checker. This line isn't going anywhere on the total, in my opinion. And if West Ham throw together and essentially say, we're going to match up with you, Spurs, and your back 5. And, we have to keep in mind that Spurs are out right now of their best center half wasn't there last week. Romero, he's recovering well, I think, for the next game against against West Ham. He should be available. So that will be a boost. So maybe he doesn't start, but like Romero is going to be available. So that would be big, I think, for an under 2.5. Personally, I think that he's their best center half by a mile when you're looking at Davies and all of the others like Tanganga. Who are the other ones? Dyer, and then Sanchez. He's a mile better than all of them. But so West Ham, when they lined up against Villa last week and they went back 5, their offense was so bad. It was so bad. The first half was one of the worst quality halves in the Premier League that I've watched in a long time. It was really bad. No team. Villa had a slight edge in the first half, but it was marginal. But I'm just saying, if Moyes tries to basically match up here, back 5s, this thing is going under 2.5. And I don't want Spurs on the money line. I don't want West Ham. I think that this is the under 2.5 and then getting on a big price on a draw here. Yeah. I think that this match is a draw. But it will be very good. You have to be wary of Kane and Son. I mean, Son isn't firing right now, but I thought that the best player was Zuma last week. Zuma, they put him in the middle of a back 3/5, and he was incredible. So, and then they had a lot of athleticism around him, like Cresswell. They just signed Carrere from PSG. Those are kind of like fullbacks, but they're playing them in the back 3. So they've got pace to be able to deal with Son maybe and things like that. So, I think that you have the angle perfectly here. I think this is under 2.5. You could even stretch it to under 2.75. And that one, it looks pretty strong.
Okay. All right. Yep. We both see that one the same way. Good stuff. Let's move over now to Liverpool versus Newcastle. Liverpool team, again, we mentioned at the top of the show, they were done. They heard all the rumors in the press from the media. They came out and absolutely thumped this past weekend against Bournemouth, 9-0. Again, Salah taken down by anytime goal scoring parlay. Not quite sure how that happened. Hey, they're taking on Newcastle. I expect Liverpool just to keep that momentum going from what they did. I remember this fixture last season. It was deep in the season with Liverpool continuing their march in both Champions League and the Premier League. They squeaked out a 1-0 win. It was Kete, I believe, who got the goal, I think, in that 1-0 win. But it was just a very workman-like, kind of game in terms of just how they were able to control Newcastle throughout that 90 minutes. Their goal was never really threatened. I remember cashing clean sheet on that day, and it just really wasn't bothered by anything Newcastle was able to do. They're going to do that again to them here at Anfield. Again, coming off a nice 9-0 win. They're going to look to continue on that momentum. So get behind Liverpool. I think they're a great play, even though maybe Newcastle is going to have a nice finish, top 8, top 10. Too much for Liverpool here in this spot. I'll take Liverpool to keep going.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you here. I'm looking at things. I watched a lot of, so I had both my TV screens up. I watched the entirety of Newcastle Wolves. I thought that Newcastle were somewhat poor. They were very fortunate to get out of there. They ended up like maybe even having a decent chance to win it late on. But look at this. Okay, this is setting up really well for a Liverpool money line. Yes, they were pissed off, angry, took out a lot of anger on Bournemouth. I think they're about to do the same thing here. I think that they will be on red alert from what Newcastle did a couple weeks ago against Man City. But
True.
then you get this too, okay? Callum Wilson out of this one. Bruno Guimaraes out of this one, he's very key to them, okay? Then you look at Alexander Isak, the 65 million euro signing, still waiting on his visa right now. I doubt that he immediately gets slotted into the starting lineup. I would be surprised. It's a possibility, but I would be surprised. Then on the back of the end of the match against Wolves, like the 91st minute, St. Maximum comes out and is pulling his hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
He's out. There is no way that St. Maximum makes this. I just don't see. I saw the look on his face. Everyone looked concerned after a beautiful golazo. I mean, it was one of the goals of the week was St. Maximum off the volley from a poor clearance from Wolves, and he just slots it. But he's out. Wilson's out. Bruno's out. I mean, their best players. These are all their best players. So then this is getting me into, this might be the second combination with Arsenal here, Jason.
Okay. Love
it's
it.
Liverpool money line and it's Arsenal money line.
Is that a good price? Can we just bet that? I want
minus 110. You might even be able to find better. So I think that you could find that bet somewhere in the plus 100 to minus 115. I know it's minus 110 here at Barstool. So it's going to be somewhere right there. I don't want it any more than minus 110. And then I would also do Arsenal with draw no bet Wolves, for example. And I think that those are two. That's a plus price. So I'm very on board. Liverpool win here. Liverpool probably win halftime, full time. I think they come out of the traps. Like if you want to get on just a single bet for this game, I would be looking towards that probably. And halftime, full time. Got a price of minus 125 there. So if I was going singles, it'd be halftime, full time. If I'm playing it safe, I'm going Arsenal and Liverpool on the money line.
This clean sheet for Liverpool and the clean sheet's also at plus money. I can't
like
see
that too.
Newcastle
like that too. I would be really surprised if Newcastle pose a big threat to Liverpool in this one. I don't think that they have the pieces, like, because I think that Bruno is so huge, like, to make the passes on the counter attack to all of like Callum Wilson, all of those guys. I mean, they're going to have Chris Wood up top, Jason.
I know. He's a good aerial threat, but that's about all. And he ain't beating Virgil van Dijk.
He's not.
There,
that's somebody that Virgil van Dijk has. He could wake up 30 minutes before the match, roll right out of bed and keep a clean sheet. Yeah. I think like that guy does not pose a threat to him and doesn't have like anything.
He's got no pace. He's got no pace. Nothing.
So I think that it's a big time. It's stacking up to be Liverpool in a great way in this one. It really is like Liverpool. And I would recommend probably getting on that sooner than later. I think that I could easily see once those lineups drop, Liverpool are minus 400. You know what I mean? Like it's just all of these best players are out and it will reflect it. And the public will be like, look, like all of these guys are out. I'm hitting Liverpool. So maybe want to get on it sooner than later because we know the injury info.
All right. Love that right there. All right. Appreciate you guys listening to the EPL on Pub here on Pub Sports Radio. We got one more game to go ahead and break down with you for this match week. It's Thursday. It's Leicester versus Manchester United. Again, mentioned it. Leicester's the only team this season so far that has cashed over 2.5 goals in all their game. No reason why that trend can't continue. In the last 5 head-to-heads, both teams to score has cashed in all 5, and 4 of those last 5, both teams to score in over 2.5 has cashed. It's Leicester. It's at home, so I think they're good for a goal here at the King Power Stadium. And Manchester United, I think, is good for a goal too. Great form. Look at Bruno's goal. what a fantastic ball there in by Dalot, and Bruno hit it very cleanly there. Just comes in perfect height for him to hit that on the volley, and tough shot, lot to do with that volley to control it and bury it, and Bruno was able to get it done. I'm not stepping in front of United. Liked what they did against Southampton. Think they'll pick up the 3 points against Leicester. They are really, really sad. Haven't picked up a win yet this Premier League, so I think goals will happen. I think United probably gets all 3 points, and they continue their fine form that they're in. But if I'm from a betting perspective, give me goals in a Leicester match.
Yeah, I mean, this one's all the trends, everything that we've been betting, for the whole, calendar of 2022. Like, if you've been cashing on some Leicester overs, like, you're not going away from it here. I mean, look at this. Both teams to score in Leicester's last 7 in the Prem have cashed. And then on the flip side, like, this has been a matchup of goals. I mean, United have scored 2+ in their last 3 at the King Power. And like that, those weren't like vintage United sides. You know what I mean? Like those are your like average, like top 6, like, or like, that 6-7, even, last year, making the Europa League type teams. Like they scored 2 last season away from home here.
Fofana, did that transfer get completed? He's now at Chelsea,
Fofana's
right?
gone. So I'm very interested to see. Leicester are going to be scrambling, and Leicester will make a signing. They have to, because their back line is really looking weak. They better, like, I hope that, generally those teams, what they do is they know that the player wants to leave. Fofana had told Rodgers the player wants to go, and then they reject a bid, they reject a second bid in order to create time to bring in the replacement. So I believe that the replacement has probably been figured out. We don't know what kind of replacement this is. Are they going to go the cheap route to try to just patch some holes in for one season, or at least until January? Or do they make a big splash this late? Most likely doubtful. I mean, you can't really go and make a big splash this late in the window. It's too difficult. So yeah, they're probably going to find somebody, just try to patch the holes up here and just keep them in this thing until January. They still have a fantastic offense. I look at this one, Jason.
Leicester's in so much trouble.
They are.
The transfer window in January is going to be crazy coming off a World Cup. It's going to be so inflated coming off a World Cup.
Here's one that I like a little bit too. Like, I know that Leicester, they've been scoring, stuff like that. But then here's this one. United, unbeaten at halftime in their last 18 games against Leicester in the Premier League. They haven't been beaten in 19 of 22 against Leicester. So, like, they've done really well against the Foxes. Like, always, it looks like they were beat on a couple nice comebacks in the last 2 seasons. Leicester have beaten them. Actually, they've beaten them multiple times. But it looks like, the comebacks have like come up late, FA Cup, stuff like that. I don't know. I look at Leicester's defense though, and I look at some of those trends, and I think that United team total over 1.5 at -120 is probably worthy here. Just need to see him clicking and stuff. But again, I'm not going to really go away. I appreciate that, Billy. The West Ham call was nice.
Billy's riding your tails all the way to the bank, baby. Riding them all the way to the bank,
baby. He knows what it is.
Good hit, Billy.
Yeah, that is a good hit. Yeah, I just think that, you're not going to complicate it here. If you've been cashing Leicester overs, BTTS over 2.5, -122. Yes, thank you.
We should see the full debut of Casemiro. Came on off the bench this past week, and obviously it's hard to get acclimated to a team that quick, but a full week coming off the bench in the last match. Expect McFred to fully be on the bench for the rest of the season. You don't have to worry about McFred starting at the CDM spot. So Casemiro is on reporting for duty, folks. Here I am. Your new CDM is right here. My name is Casemiro. So, all right, should be a nice little fun week there in the Premier League. That's, of course, all 10. Special midweek match in the Premier League. We'll, of course, be back with you guys later on in the week. We've got another plethora of slate of games up from this weekend, match week number 6. So good luck with your bets. I think there's some great spots. And make sure you're following us on Twitter. We'll go ahead and, as we see lineups, tweet out our bets that we're on. But, of course, we've given you some bets along the way on this show. So thank you guys for hanging out with us here on Pub Sports Radio. Again, don't forget to hit the notifications and give us a subscribe. So therefore, you can get all the great content. We've got baseball and football going on this time of year as well. All right, enjoy your midweek Premier League games. We'll see you guys a little bit later on in the week.